Well, good morning and welcome to the Wisdom of Walt, the podcast, coming to you from the high seas off in the Pacific Ocean aboard Navigator of the Seas here on Royal Caribbean. We have a very, very special guest, although I might be a little biased. Joining us this week for episode 20 is none other than Mr. Reinbold, my plus one.
Hello, y'all. Great to be here. And unfortunately, Jeff isn't here. But we are on a beautiful cruise ship out in the ocean and came across this crazy sign. It must be a sign.
Wow. And what I love is that you can flip it upside down and then it becomes mom, which I'm a mom and I write what we call mom
Mondays on Main Street.
Mondays on Main Street. So it's a 2-for-1. And we didn't even have to pay an upgrade charge to have this little ditty. So thank you so much for being here with me today, Eric.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. And Jeff, we miss you, buddy, but we hope to have you back next week. Man, I can't believe that we've been doing now 20 episodes of The Wisdom of Walt. And this is your very first time being on
It's
one.
my very first time. And we take a cruise. And guess what? The big significance of this cruise was I turned
60 years. Can you believe that?
60 at sea.
60 at sea. It's amazing. And this is Eric's first time on the podcast and my first time on a cruise ship. And that was the whole basis of this week's Mondays on Main Street article, was all about overcoming our fears.
And how did that go for you?
Well, we've been talking about doing a cruise for a very long time. Eric and I love to travel. We've been all over the world, Mexico, Italy, Hawaii, all across the United States. And I've just been afraid, I guess, afraid of a lot of things. And I talked about some of that this week, more so afraid of the crowds, which is ironic being a Disney fan, because if you've been to the parks, you know there's crowds. There's no way of getting around it. But for some reason, the idea of being on a cruise ship kind of stuck, right? Kind of freaked me out. I'm not a big fan of buffets, and that's one thing that they're known for. Not a fan of crowds. And I was a little nervous about the idea of getting sick, because you hear about all these horror stories of whether it's the stomach flu or just germs in general. I think after COVID, we all started to feel a little bit more kind of uneasy about that idea. So I just had a laundry list of reasons why I didn't necessarily want to be on a cruise ship.
And then you got this wonderful bracelet for motion sickness. How's that working for you?
It has been an absolute game changer. Do you remember the first time I tried one of these?
Oh, yeah.
What were we doing?
We were out in a boat, right?
Whale watching.
Whale watching.
Yeah,
And the young gentleman in front of us didn't fare too well, though.
Oh, we're going to spare you the details, but let's just say someone else on the ship that did not use one of these bracelets definitely got sick and left his mark everywhere, even on us. We don't want to go back to that. We don't want to talk about that. Yeah. So I do have to say, though, I'm glad I did it. And it is nothing against Royal Caribbean. It's nothing against cruising. I think that it caters to a specific demographic of people and population of travelers. And I don't know if we're that demographic. Like, we like to go out and explore and do things on our own time and at our own pace. And I think that's more our cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it. It's been beautiful.
So what about your fear? Do you feel like you've overcome that fear?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's been a huge lesson, which is the whole basis of my book that I'm working on that'll be out later this summer, is a forced perspective. It's been a lesson in forcing my perspective, and there's been a lot of opportunity to complain. There's been a lot of things to complain about, including how we woke up this morning.
Oh, my goodness. 2 chairs being scooted across the pool deck just above us.
Right.
At 5 a.m.
Like 4:30 in the morning, and just lots of noise. And, you run out of things to do if you don't like to buy overpriced art or drink all the time. And that's not us.
Right.
Yeah, but other than that, it definitely forced my perspective and the fear is gone. So our viewers can't see what we can see, but right behind you guys is a beautiful view of the ocean.
You can't see it, but we were trying to get it in, but we were too dark in the front.
Yeah, we tried.
But,
You can't
you'll
have
just
it all.
have to go on a cruise for yourself to see it.
Yeah,
And definitely get the balcony.
absolutely. I'm so glad that we have the balcony. So when I need a little bit of fresh air, I can go out and and get some fresh air and enjoy the
Saw some
sunrise. Yes. And what was so ironic, and I believe just such a gift, it was a wink from Walt, maybe, and a wink from my dad, is as I was wrapping up this week's article, the only place I could find a really good quiet solitude, and I walked all over the ship, was actually back on our balcony. So I kicked Eric out. I had the room to ourselves and or to myself, and just as I was finishing up the last paragraph, I looked up in time to see a whole pod of dolphins, and I haven't seen them since. I didn't see them before then. I haven't seen them since. And it was such a I would take it as a reminder that I was exactly where needed to be at the exact moment that I needed to be in it. And I think a lot of our life together and our relationship has been that way. Some of our amazing adventures that we've been on, how we've met some amazing people, our opportunities to visit Club 33, which has led to us meeting Jeff and then
Right.
starting a podcast and writing a book and being part of the wisdom of Walt. Like it was all because we were exactly where we needed to be at the right time.
And speaking of relationships, let's talk a little bit about Jeff's article,
Absolutely.
Stuck on You,
Yeah.
and his dad waking up to kind of a mess in the kitchen with this super glue thing. And if you haven't read the article, be sure to read it. It'll go into a little bit of detail that we probably aren't going into, but brings a little perspective. I mean, I can't imagine walking down stairs and there being just super glue everywhere and you're in your socks and you walk into this stuff and then your socks being literally super glued to the bottom of your feet.
Yeah. It was kind of a painful lesson that poor Jeff's dad had to learn as he was removing not just the layers
Yeah.
of sock, but layers of skin
Right.
from this massive industrial
Yeah.
super glue that I think Jeff left the lid off, but that's okay. And the whole purpose of that, to take that home, is this idea of vows. And Jeff is not here, but I know I can speak on his behalf on this subject. Jeff is not on his first marriage, and
Neither
neither
are
is
we.
Eric and I. Neither are Eric and I. And in fact, this makes three for both of us.
This makes 3.
This makes three. This is our third marriage,
Yeah,
for those of you that didn't know that. And there's quite an age gap between myself and Eric. What is it, 18 years?
18 years.
And I know there's a significant age gap between Jeff and Lindsay, and some people might turn their nose up at that. And I think that it's about, again, forcing your perspective. It has less to do with the amount of times that you've been married or the amount of years that might be between you and your partner. And it has more to do with this idea of cohesion and adhesion, right? It's not the idea of being stuck because we don't want to be here, just like being stuck on a cruise because there's nowhere else to go, but it's choosing to follow and adhere to the vows that you've shared in a total commitment to one
Commitment,
another.
right. That's right.
And I think if we're being honest, there's been times, maybe not for you, but you can speak to times where maybe I did not want to uphold those vows.
Went through a rough time there for a while,
It
but
got a little rocky.
now I think our marriage is probably the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
kind of cool when you choose to partner up with your best friend.
yeah,
And we live in a society where it's very easy to upgrade. It's almost expected to upgrade, right? Whether it's cell phones, your starter home, your starter car, your entry-level job, like our society is built on the next best thing.
yeah.
Even cruise ships. This used to be a state-of-the-art cruise ship when it first was launched and set sail, and now it's considered more dated. And so, if we aren't careful, we can also have a tendency to look at our relationships that way. We go all in and we're in the ride of a lifetime, and still we hit rough waters until we hit rocky seas, and then we want to bail.
Yeah. I think, it's just about being married to your best friend and looking at it like that way too. Like you and I, like one of us wants to go to the grocery store or go shopping or go to Home Goods, one of your favorite stores, we
Or
always
antiquing.
antiquing. We love to do all those things together, so
Yeah,
it's like we don't want to do that without the other being with us
right.
because we like to share everything together now.
Yeah.
So, and I just wanted to say, the what Jeff had wrote about Stuck on You comes right out of the chapter. Some of that right
Uh
out
huh.
of the chapter of his latest book
Yeah,
that
his new book.
him and Lindsay wrote. I think they were writing for like 18 months. I think it
Yeah,
took.
a long
It's
time.
just going to the editor now, right?
Yeah. Nothing Can Stop Us Now. And it's a relationship book,
Yeah.
Disney infused, of course, with all of the leadership principles, all of the life lessons and the legacy that Walt left behind, and a lot of the relationship advice and tips for success that we can learn through Walt, through the parks, and then also through an intimate look into Jeff's marriage with Lindsay. And so I can't wait for that. And congratulations again, Mr. and Mrs. Barnes, for sticking to it, committing yourselves, and seeing it through. We can't wait for that book to come out. Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see Jeff on the next podcast. But we are on podcast number 20.
20. And they
So,
said we would never get past number 9, and here
who
we are.
said that?
Well,
Walt got
they
Walt got told a lot of things too.
he did. He
So,
did. And it's
yeah.
not about the naysayers. And one important thing that Jeff taught me was it's not what you believe, it's how hard you believe it.
Mm,
And if we can just hold on to that truth, it doesn't matter what you're going all in on, it's how hard you believe in that dream. And for me, it was the dream of being able to write. And my own book is coming out here shortly, and I don't want to overshadow Jeff's release. It's coming up soon. But we finally got the last chapter written, and we've got some editing to do before it comes out. But
I think Jeff and Lindsay's book is going to beat you to the punch.
I think it's going to be, you know what? And that's okay. Just sit back a little bit and let them have their moment. And I'm so excited to read it. I'm sure there's a lot of life and
Oh,
love
yeah,
lessons that we can learn and
absolutely.
apply to our own relationship. Well, friends, thank you so much for tuning in again for episode 20. We took a little bit of a break over the Memorial Day weekend, and we hope that you were able to enjoy that time with your family in remembrance of all of those who have served our country. And for those of you out there that are either active members or retired members, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts for your
Absolutely.
sacrifice and your commitment to our country. All right.
Can I close us with your line?
Absolutely.
See you real soon.